And thank you for watching Sunday Kickoff. I am Fidel Barraza. Alongside with me today, Walter Stringer. How you doing, man?
Great, great. Happy to be here again another Sunday.
November football, where the pretenders go away and the contenders show up. So happy first week of November to you.
Happy first week of November, and we got a decent slate of games today too, so should work out.
Yes, we do. But before we go over those, let's go ahead and recap real quick. Thursday night football, New York Jets at the Indianapolis Colts. It was a blowout, 30-45. The score does not indicate how much of a blowout this was. Mike White got hurt, I believe, on the second drive, his forearm, wrist area. He was not able to go back in, excuse me. But the game towards the end, it was a little bit close, but I mean, it was a blowout.
Yeah, definitely. First, I think when I look at the New York Jets, this was their worst case scenario. Zach Wilson, number 2 overall pick, hurt. He's on the shelf. Backup quarterback hurt. He's now on the shelf. You got PJ Walker out there now. You got to hope you can keep him healthy. At least PJ can move around a little bit, keep some plays alive, and keep himself upright. But they need Mekhi Becton badly. I think that offensive line, they were built around him. With him being gone, Elijah Vera Tucker, first round pick, he's forced to do more that he needs to do right now at the position he is in his career. And they haven't been able to run the ball that well either. They're inconsistent on the outside. I think you look at what the Jets did in the draft, they had everything. They had good intentions. Things just have not worked out for them at all. Now, defensively, they've been pretty solid, but offensively, they've been a complete disaster, Now, the Colts, on the other hand, Jonathan Taylor, he's emerging as a star in the league, They kind of built like Tennessee, honestly. Athletic, mobile quarterback that can throw the ball down the field.
Yeah.
Needs a good running game, some solid play action, good offensive line. So I would not be surprised if the Colts actually caught Tennessee.
I mean, to me, it wasn't a surprise. Colts blowing out the Jets. I think the Colts are decent. They just had some bad breaks. Carson throwing those 2 costly picks against Tennessee last week. And look, Jonathan Taylor's a stud. Michael Pittman's an emerging number 1 receiver.
Yep.
Indianapolis has some weapons there. And let's not forget about this defense either.
Oh, yeah, definitely. They've had their ups and downs. They've had their ups and downs the last couple seasons. I think they're kind of due for an upgrade at some talent on that back end especially. I think front 4-wise, they're pretty solid. But, yeah, they can make some upgrades in the secondary, maybe in free agency, in the draft. Colts can really make some moves next season too.
Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and move on to the slate of games for today. What's your biggest storyline for week 9? Well,
Whew. All right, so I'm going to take it to the losers. You're going to wonder why I'm talking about this game, but I'm going to go with the 1-7 Houston Texans visiting the 1-7 Miami Dolphins.
And real quick, Tua is out.
Yeah.
Tua is out, and Jacoby Brissett will start in place of him.
Yep, absolutely. So we're looking at Brian Flores. Over the past 2.5 years, he got hired back in 2019. They had a rough 2019 considering the fact that as soon as he took the job, upper management immediately gutted the roster. That's when they lost Minkah Fitzpatrick. Well, they traded Minkah Fitzpatrick away, gutted the roster. I think the idea was to tank for Tua. They ended up tanking, but they could have had a different quarterback instead of Tua. But that team played pretty solid, pretty strong. They competed pretty well down the stretch. So therefore, Flores kept his job. 2020 was kind of like a feel-out season for them. I think they kind of played above their heads last season, and then they came to this season. Everyone expected them to be better than what they really were. But if you look at this season already, they've got losses to Atlanta and Jacksonville on the record already. And there's a good chance, I think, that if he loses today to Houston, he could be gone.
Now, do you think he'll be gone in season or after the season?
Well, I'm hearing a lot of things from Miami that there's rumblings he could be gone before the end of the season, actually.
Really? And the other thing to keep an eye on, Tyrod Taylor is back for the Houston Texans.
Yep, that also. And Davis Mills, bright spot for the Houston Texans. I think he's played pretty well considering the situation he's been thrown into also. So I think his style of play and his production so far, considering the fire he's been thrown into, could earn him a nod next season if Deshaun Watson isn't there anymore.
Yeah, no, I think the same thing. And who knows? Next year we might see a whole different, completely Miami Dolphins team, depending how the season ends up. I mean, Tua not playing today, that's not good for them.
Yeah, man. I think. Well, I know I didn't have them making the playoffs. I'm not sure before the season if you had them making them, but I didn't have the Dolphins making the playoffs. I didn't have them being this bad though at all at the midway point of the season.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things have happened for the Miami Dolphins to, for them to end up in that spot that they're in right now. So, be very interesting to see what happens in that game. My biggest storyline is Ryan Tannehill.
Mm-hmm.
Are you the real deal?
Mm-hmm.
Derrick Henry, your number one weapon, he's out. He's not going to come back for the rest of the year. You guys right now, as it stands, are the number one seed in the AFC. Now, are you going to be able to win without Derrick? That's the real question. They brought up, or they signed Adrian Peterson, but we don't even know. We talked about this yesterday. How much he has left in the tank? But you do have a steady wide receiver. Well, so we'll see if you're going to be able to get the ball to him.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be an uphill battle for Ryan. You look at the fact that AJ is kind of in and out the lineup. Julio is in and out the lineup, so he can't really develop any serious chemistry with those two guys. I think if those two guys were consistently in the lineup, I would feel differently about Tennessee. I think it's just rough for them right now. I don't think Ryan is the guy to really carry them through this situation. And you look at the fact that Henry's hurt. The next closest guy was Nichols, the backup running back. He had, what, 7 carries on the
Not,
season?
yeah, not even close.
Yeah, and they had a very physical week of football reported as far as how they hit AP and everything. So I don't know. I'm scared. I'm terrified to see what they could become without Derrick Henry and the fact that the two studs on the outside can't stay healthy.
I have another storyline too, really quick. Jordan Love
Hmm.
replacing Aaron Rodgers as starting quarterback. Of course, everyone out there watching this, the whole fiasco, what's going on with Aaron Rodgers catching COVID and saying he was immunized and he really wasn't. It's a mess for Green Bay. And he actually lost one of his sponsors. I believe it was a hospital out of Wisconsin. So
Yeah.
we might see more of those happen. But look, you drafted this guy in the first round. The big test for Jordan Love today. He is going to have Devontae Adams back, but you're going to Arrowhead against the Kansas City Chiefs that look to turn things around from their season that's been so far.
Yeah, well, I mean, Jordan got to play. I understand the fact that he hasn't taken too many snaps, too many regular season snaps in the first couple of years of the league, but it's time for him to play. And that's not the same vaunted Arrowhead that we've seen before. That team isn't the same defensively. Offensively, they can't seem to get out of their own way. They refuse to take what the defense gives them. They want to remain cute on offense instead of just doing what they need to do to win games. So, would I be surprised if Jordan Love, his first career start, went up to Arrowhead and performed well? Not at all.
Now, if you're Matt LaFleur, I mean, how are you going to play Jordan as far as like, are you going to let him play? Are you going to be, are you do you have the first 15 plays scripted for them just to hand off the ball and maybe a little short passes out of the backfield? What do you think the game plan is for Jordan Love today?
I'm going to let him play. I mean, I'm going to run the ball for damn sure with those running backs I got if I'm Green Bay. But, yeah, I'm going to let him play. I mean, he's got some weapons out there. Why not let him play? He can. I'm pretty sure Jordan Love has shown enough in practice to make sure that offensively they can keep things moving. So they should be okay. I don't think it's a situation where he's the guy from the Indianapolis Colts who they waived, big arm quarterback from Georgia, actually from Washington, Jacob Eason. Now you
Yeah,
look at a guy like Jacob Eason. Jacob Eason was there for almost 2 seasons, or did they cover? Did they waive him before the season?
they wait. No, I think it was 2 seasons.
Yeah, they gave him every opportunity to win that job, and it just never happened. He just was never able to even sniff the field during the regular season. So they have to have some sort of confidence in Jordan in order to throw him out there.
And we got Jorge Rubio chiming in. Jordan Love's going to do all right against the weak Chiefs defense. Yeah, I think it's going to be decent for the Packers. That is Fox's game of the week, so 1:25 kickoff Pacific Standard Time. So we'll definitely keep an eye out on that game as well. All right, Walter, best matchup for Week 9.
I'm gonna go Titans Rams. I'm gonna stick with that game. I understand. Unless you've been asleep under a rock earlier last week, Tuesday, there was some trades made. Of course, Von Miller. I'm not sure if Von Miller's playing today. I'm pretty sure he's not going to play today. He will play today.
I believe he is.
Oh, amazing. That's
Not good
amazing.
news for the Titans.
That's amazing for the Titans. But I'm interested to see, as we just commented, what you were just saying. My thing is this: offensive coordinator Todd Downing. He's about to embark on the biggest challenge of his life. Now, we all understand that when he took over for Arthur Smith when Smith left, he had pretty much one job: just stay out of the way.
Yeah.
This is Derrick Henry. This is A.J. Brown. This is Ryan Tannehill. This is play action. This is newly added Julio Jones. And this is Mike Vrabel shit. All of that is shaken up now. So, and Downey doesn't have the most experience. This is first season as an offensive coordinator. We had him as a quarterbacks coach here in Detroit years ago. I think he was with the Raiders too.
He was the
Yeah.
offensive coordinator after the 2016 season, after the Raiders had a great year, and he did not call plays well for the Raiders.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But I do know this. He likes to throw the football. I know that from him being here. So what do you think the Titans can possibly do the rest of the season? Because, like I said, they can't get any consistency with their two number one wide receivers, and their identity of their team, or at least offensively, is gone. Now, defensively, Tennessee hasn't been bad at all. They get pressure with that front seven, especially that front four, and they got probably the biggest, best playmaking safety in the league right now, Kevin Byard. And Elijah Molden is playing him very well. So,
Playing lights out.
yeah. So, what do you think about Tennessee?
I mean, I think it's gonna be tough for them to stay number one. I mean, as far as the AFC conference goes, look, I mean, Derrick Henry was your whole offense, but again, I mean, Ryan Tannehill's not a scrub. He won't come back player of the year a couple years back, if I'm not mistaken. You have AJ Brown still, Julio. I mean, we know what you can get with Julio when he's healthy, but that's the key: is he healthy enough?
Hit or miss.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, to me, you got to let Ryan play. He's gonna have to sling that ball.
Yeah, he's a vet.
They're gonna have to
be able to let him play.
They're gonna have to be creative how they're gonna get the ball to AJ Brown. And I mean, I don't know. Like, we'll see what Adrian Peterson does tonight, but I mean, we can't expect too much from the guy, right?
Well, we've seen running backs walk in off the street and rush for 100 yards before. Running back is one of those type of positions. That's why I'm kind of surprised they didn't go like the younger free agent route.
Well, I mean, who's
I
available?
understand they wanted a veteran to get in there, a guy who pretty much knew their type of scheme and everything. I understand that, but you could have brought some younger legs in there too.
Like who?
I don't know.
Well, I mean,
crawl through the free agency list. I just think that
when you think about it, I mean, Baltimore pretty much signed all the running backs because everyone got hurt in their backfield, right? They got signed Le'Veon Bell, Latavius Murray. I think Latavius Murray would have been a perfect fit for that Tennessee offense.
Yeah, ideally, size-wise.
Yeah.
But, he doesn't garner that same respect that Derrick Henry did. So
no one does, though. So
yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to stick right there with that matchup. I mean, Sunday Night Football, Rams just acquired Von Miller. Derrick Henry's out. Ryan Tannehill's in. Adrian Peterson's in. So, I mean, we'll see, the top teams in both respective conferences are going to go head-to-head, and we'll see.
Well, what do you think about the Odell Beckham Jr. rumors?
Well,
to the Rams.
I mean, if he clears waivers, which I don't know if he is because he's not that expensive, but a report that come out this morning by Adam Schefter saying that he does want to go to a playoff contender in a good environment, or whatever that is.
I don't know. Listen, I read the entire piece. And it was hints, I'll ruffle some feathers if the wrong team signs me. Basically. So Detroit, don't think about it.
Any bad team, if you're in last place, third place, do not think about signing Odell Beckham Jr.
I mean, it wouldn't make sense for us to sign him anyway, man.
It wouldn't. It would just be a waste of money to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. But, I mean, he's going to get signed by someone. So, I mean, ideally.
Personally, your opinion, do you think the Rams would do better with, well, that goes back to, I guess, what we were just talking about. Maybe there weren't any running backs on the market. I thought that the Rams would have been better off getting a couple more running backs or maybe one more running back, for that December, January football.
But I mean, what they have is working. Why are you going to break what you have? It's working. You're winning.
Well, you don't have to break it. You don't have to.
I know, but
break
still,
it,
I mean, but we've seen, situations when you bring in a player and it just makes everything worse. So, I mean, why do that?
Like Odell Beckham Jr.?
That's a whole different situation. I mean, if you need a wide receiver, And he doesn't have to be signed by Monday or next week, people. It could be he could wait if an injury happens to a wideout, which we've seen happen. Then of course that team, if they're a playoff contender, then go sign him. But he doesn't have to sign with anybody next week. That's the whole thing I think people are missing out. I think he's going to, but he doesn't have to.
Do you think he should?
He's got to weigh out his options because wherever he goes and the rest of the year is going to determine, I think, his career
It's
and
an
how it's going to
audition,
go. Yeah.
you know. But it's sad because we've seen. I think a lot of wide receivers get a bad rap,
Yeah.
because that diva halo that's hanging over there. But it's situations like this, it's situations with To and other guys that happen where those
But we don't.
situations may
But,
have
but
not
well,
been completely their faults at all.
yeah, but like just going back to T.O. and McNabb situation, we don't know what happened. I mean,
Right.
we hear these things come out after, and what how long has it been? 15, 16 years?
Yeah, I mean, there's always two sides to
Yeah.
every story, and then the truth lays right in the middle. So I mean, at the end of the day, we don't know what goes on in these situations, but the wide receiver is always made out to be the villain in these situations. Now, what looks bad for Odell is the fact that there's two situations he's left where there's a stench that's been
Yeah.
left behind.
You know what's hilarious is having his dad made that video. I still haven't seen that video. Have you?
Yeah, I seen it. It's kind of indicting of Baker, but like I said yesterday, I find it hard to believe that any damn quarterback, especially a quarterback playing in a contract season, is going to intentionally not throw touchdown passes. I don't care what the relationship is he has with the guy. Why in the hell would Baker not throw him the football if he's open for 6?
Look, this team played better without Beckham last year. With that running game and that
Well,
short passing game.
how much of this is Baker's regression also?
Well, he's got a torn labrum.
Yeah. I
He's got a
mean,
lot to
Chubb,
do with it.
he hasn't played the greatest either.
But he's been hurt
So,
too.
yeah, I mean, Landry's been hurt, and
They,
also
they,
they can't stop losing big games also.
they're dealing with a lot of injuries. The
They are.
the one game that I thought would be the turning point for this team was against the Chargers, but Stefanski, that play calling at the end was questionable to say the least.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I mean, but look, all right. So since we're talking about Odell Beckham Jr., what about Deshaun Jackson?
Deshaun can still run.
And real quick, he did have a Zoom interview with the Raiders yesterday, so maybe they'll get a deal done by Monday. Nothing set in stone though.
Personally, I know you're gonna hate this. I think he'll fit perfectly with the Chargers. I think
They got wideouts, man.
So do you.
Oh, come on.
You got wideouts. Don't
Well,
hog all the receivers now.
Well,
man.
I don't know if you saw the news this week, but there was a situation with a certain wide receiver. I'm not going to get into details that did not have the best week, and he's gone. He's not on the team anymore.
Yeah, I mean that certainly happened. That certainly happened. I mean, I like the fact that you guys aren't giving up on the season. Despite everything, the building is burning around you. You guys are still standing there.
I mean, think about it. If the season were to end up real bad, they're going to blow up this team again. No doubt about it.
You guys are winning games considering what's going on around you, and the Lions can't. I mean, that right there are two separate organizations in a nutshell.
Look, I know John Gruden obviously did what he did, but I think he did a tremendous job putting the proper leadership in that team.
You think you guys keep the interim?
I think so. If they end up making the playoffs, I mean, do you really have an option? What are you going to do? Fire the coach, the whole coaching staff? Gus Bradley's got this defense playing lights out. Max Crosby is easily having the best year of his career. Yannick Ngakoue is a revelation of himself, This team is just playing good. Casey Hayward is playing lights out too.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it can be emotion. We've seen the interim coach take over and win his final 5, 6, 7 games, and win his final 8 out of 10. And
Bruce Arians.
Yeah. Well, Byron, look at Arizona. Look at them. Look at Tampa. I'm pretty sure Leftwich, he's going to be coaching somewhere next season. Maybe coaching Trevor Lawrence. I don't know, in Jacksonville.
Hey, well, maybe Bruce is going to retire after this year. Who knows? If he wins the Super Bowl, look, numerous interviews that Bruce has given out has said, "Hey, I don't touch the offense. That's all Byron and Tom." So,
I think Leftwich coaches somewhere next year as the head guy. Period.
Well,
I think if Arians leaves, he takes over there.
Well, I know it's week 9, but if you had to guess where he's going to be coaching, what do you think?
Leftwich.
Yes.
I think Urban is out in Jacksonville.
Really, one and done.
Yeah, I think they'll find a way to eat. They have to eat some of that money because things are. It all comes down to what Trevor thinks. Because to me, it seems like he's performing. Trevor has gotten better with every week. And it seemed like he's getting better in spite of what's going on around him. So I don't think Urban is the right guy for him. I wouldn't be surprised if Eric Bieniemy could be a guy that goes over there to Jacksonville. It's going to be a hot spot, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, you make some excellent points. Joe Brady's the other name they have to look out for, as well
And
as
then another guy. Let's go back to the Miami Dolphins. As bad of a season as the Miami Dolphins are currently having, it's even worse because they're sitting at number 2 right now in the draft order, and that pick goes to the Philadelphia Eagles. So let's say you do. I mean, I think Flores is gone anyway. Whether Flores is gone now, or he's gone at the end of the season. He's gone.
Well, wait, real quick, Walter. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but look,
Yep.
what people have to understand about this whole Flores situation in Miami is that the owner is getting involved in a lot of these things. He's not letting him do what he's supposed to do, right? He's pretty much playing GM and owner at the same time. When he tells the media one thing about Deshaun Watson, the owner goes and meets with him and does another. So, I mean, they're not making it easy for Brian Flores down there in Miami.
Oh no, the hierarchy is definitely disorienting over there. They got to get some things in order, but he still has to make the most of what he has on the field. That team has been bad. Like they've been bottom half in the league in every single category.
Yeah.
And you can't have that with a team that has that much money invested in some of the players that you do. Like Xavier Howard, I was pretty sure before the deadline that they would move Howard. You know, they restructured the deal, made it more trade friendly. There are plenty of teams out there that probably would have taken Xavier Howard, but they decided to hold on to him. You know, you invested that high of a draft pick in Jalen Waddle, who's more right now of a gadget player. You know, he's still learning the
He
position.
looks good, though, when they use him.
Yeah, he does, but you know, once again, it's like, hey,
Well,
listen,
I
we
mean,
talked to Coach about this. At least I
yeah.
talked to Coach a couple weeks ago about this, particularly. When a head coach is handcuffed to a quarterback he never wanted, that's a marriage made to fail every single time. And from what we hear out of Miami, Flores was handcuffed to Tua. We've heard reports that Flores wanted Justin Herbert. You know, we hear this all the time about head coaches who, I want this guy and management wants this guy. So, I mean, like I said, to be honest, Flores things were never that great. Things were never as great there in Miami as people thought they were going to be.
They got saved by Ryan Fitzpatrick multiple times last season, which led them to almost make the playoffs. Until they lost the last week of the season against the Buffalo Bills, and Tua had to play.
But they were never really good. Like from 2019 to now, pinpoint one period of time where they were actually good.
I can't remember.
Right.
Yeah, so excellent points. But going back to this 2 free agent wide receivers, where do you think OBJ lands, and where do you think Deshaun Jackson lands?
I think OBJ goes to the Rams. You know, I think he ends up there.
You need more people there?
Do they need him? Maybe not. But at the end of the day, guys get hurt. Cooper Kupp, he has a history.
But why
of
did
being
Deshaun
hurt.
Jackson leave? Because he wasn't getting any targets. There was not enough footballs to go around. And this guy, Odell Beckham Jr., he wants to be target number 1 and number 2.
Yeah, well, Odell his route tree is way better than is way deeper than Deshaun Jackson's also. So I think they can do a lot more with Odell Beckham Jr. Do they need him? Maybe not, but did they really need Von Miller?
Well, what about the Bucs then? What about Tampa?
Tampa needs to get healthy. That's it. I still believe if Tampa's healthy from top to bottom and they got Tom Brady, nobody's beating them. Not in January.
Nope.
No.
Yeah, I mean, to me,
because that's when the pressure is on. Like I tell people, Stafford beat Tampa Bay early in the season. Would you put money on it that he would go to Tampa in January?
He won't have.
When the pressure's on? Or even, would you even favor the Rams at home against Tampa?
Hell no. I'll take Tampa all day. I picked Tampa to win the Super Bowl before the year started. I'm going to stick with that pick. I think Tampa's still in a good spot to win everything. And again, look, they're on a bye week, kind of get everything refocused. Last week we saw them get off the bye week and not lose a game after that. So, but yeah, I mean, maybe OBJ does make sense with the Rams. got a chance to win a ring. That's for sure.
Yeah. Now, I mean, Deshaun Jackson, who really needs a wide receiver right now to put the Buffalo Raiders?
Not pointing in the right
Nah.
direction. There we go.
I'm gonna say Buffalo.
Buffalo.
He fits well with Josh Allen's arm.
That would be
He actually
interesting.
gives them what they need. Honestly, somebody that can really take the top off the defense.
I think it lands with the Raiders, man. I really do. They need
You
him.
guys wouldn't kind of stay away from this. Like now you're bringing even though he didn't do anything.
He didn't do anything, and they would be a good fit. And he used to be a Raider fan when he was younger. I don't know if that does anything to the situation, but they need him. But look, we'll see how Zay Jones does today. I think there's going to be some plays in. Look, I think he's capable of replacing Henry Ruggs, because look, John traded for him a couple years back, and he stayed on the team. And they've cut other wide receivers, and he stayed on there for a reason. So I wouldn't mind.
No better than me.
I wouldn't mind Deshaun Jackson in silver and black. So hopefully that happens.
Well,
all right. Good.
I say anybody over Darius Hayward-Bay.
Why do you got to bring him up?
I just love bringing up Darius Hayward-Bay randomly in football conversations, man.
And then some people were like, "Who's Darius Hayward-Bay?"
I know Raiders fans know who he are. Everyone at the network knows who Darius Hayward-Bay is.
Yeah, but I dare you to go up to a random person on the street. Hey, do you remember Darius Hayward-Bay by any chance? Played in Maryland.
Yeah, that old Steeler bus.
He did play in Maryland, right?
Yeah, he played in Maryland.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, I know we don't have this on the script, but I want to talk to you about the Minnesota Vikings.
Yep.
They're in turmoil, to say the least. After losing to the backup quarterback in Cooper Rush and the Dallas Cowboys last Sunday Night Football, Adam Thielen had some very interesting comments to say after the game. What do you think about the whole situation with the Vikings? And look, today they don't have an easy matchup. They play the Baltimore Ravens at in Maryland, correct? They play in Baltimore.
Yep.
And it's probably going to be a very hostile environment. Vikings need to win this game, man.
Yeah, man. Vikings are disappointing. Very disappointing. You look at the fact that they've got not even necessarily defensively so much, but they have like elite pass rushers who can't stay healthy on defense. Anthony Barr is another guy who's kind of like in and out. You look at Minnesota offensively, top 5 running back. You got 2 top 5 wide receivers, maybe top 7, top 8 at the least, in Thielen and Jefferson. Cousins puts up numbers. It's just that they seem to have real poor execution issues. You know, whether it's Cousins or it's the offensive line, it's coaching. And there seems to be a disconnect between Zimmer and that team. I think Zimmer's kind of gotten stale there. They just need some new blood there. So I think Zimmer's gone anyway. What do you think?
I think he's gone too. I think he's tired of the situation. Ziggy Wharf, the owner of the Vikings, probably tired of the situation as well. They're going to have to bring in a new coach. What do you do with Kirk Cousins?
Can't move him back to Washington.
I mean, I guess you could try.
Well,
it's not going to happen.
Who's ready to win now that feels like Kirk Cousins makes them better?
I don't have a team. Maybe New Orleans? We don't know what's going to happen.
I think he sticks it out with Jameis.
But he's going to have to rehab a year. Well, he's only been gone a couple of weeks. So, I mean, ideally, he's going to be back by mid-October. But as we've seen in the past, these things are not always guaranteed that, after surgery, it's going to be better.
Well, where are you going to get a quarterback from if that's the case? Because we expect Sean Payton to keep on winning, right? I expect him to win.
I don't know. Do you? Do you expect him to win today against the Atlanta Falcons? Well, he is playing the Falcons, so never mind.
I mean, listen, as hard as I've been on the Saints my entire life, at least adult life for that matter, Sean Payton wins games. Period.
No, with the third string quarterback, he's going to win games.
You've seen him do it before. Over the past
the second string,
Breeze is always out. Breeze is always in and out.
No, come on. He was more reliable earlier, obviously, in the career with the Saints, but they've had backup quarterbacks to play though.
We saw him win games with Chase Daniels. We saw him win games with Taysom Hill. We saw him win games with Teddy Bridgewater. He won 7 straight games with Teddy Bridgewater, didn't he?
Yeah, but he's not a scrub, but he's not a starter either.
But he managed to win 7 straight. I think that's the only 7-game winning streak Teddy ever had in his life.
I
Well,
mean,
at
they
least
did.
NFL life.
Didn't they play a team last year that had no quarterback because of COVID? And who
Yeah,
was the
that
starting
happened.
quarterback back then? Was it Taysom Hill? I believe so.
It may have been. I'm just
Yeah.
saying he knows how to win games, so I don't expect the Saints to just falter. So quarterbacks.
I mean, so do you expect them to just keep on rattling games off then and winning?
Well, let's take a look at the schedule if that's the
Let's bring it
case.
up. Let's bring it up. I am interested in this conversation because, as you know, KJ300, the leader of the Who Dat Nation, said that they're going to win 11 games. I don't see that.
The Saints.
Yep.
You got the schedule?
I can get it right now. I got it right here. All right. So they play Atlanta today. Next week, they're at Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to be an easy game for them. Week after, they play Philly and Philadelphia. Then they got Buffalo and Dallas. And then the Jets. And
Okay.
let's see. And then they play Tampa again, Miami, Panthers, and they finish the season off in Atlanta with the Falcons.
Well, listen, what are they at? 5-2? They're 5-2 right now?
5-2.
Yeah. I think they beat Atlanta today.
Okay.
I think they can win at Tennessee because they run the ball well enough to beat Tennessee.
All right.
I,
I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. 7-2.
I think they can beat Philly.
All right. 8-2.
They
Don't listen
host
to Buffalo.
they host Buffalo.
They do host Buffalo.
That's a primetime game too. That's what
It
Thanksgiving. Okay, that's Thanksgiving.
Yep.
That type of game could go either way. I'll give it to Buffalo out of respect.
All right. 8-3.
Dallas,
8-4. They'll lose to Dallas.
possible.
But I
Although
mean,
Dallas and New Orleans have some weird games too.
yeah, they do.
But at Jets, that's a win. We would think so.
Well, I mean, we would think it would be a win, but last year we saw the Rams lose the Jets
Yeah.
towards the end of the year too. So
At Tampa, divisional game, toss up, whatever.
no, Tom's gonna.
They
kill them.
shouldn't. Yeah, Tampa should win. But okay, you're looking at Miami, Carolina, Atlanta. Theoretically, they should win those final 3 games. Unless what do we expect Carolina to be?
We don't
if
know because
McCaffrey's back.
Well, I mean, look, Carolina's
They don't even have a quarterback.
now. Carolina is in one situation now, but who knows where they're going to be at when they play them again. So Carolina's got a huge game today against New England. I don't see them winning that game. Maybe McCaffrey's going to play, but don't be surprised if he re-aggravates that injury that he has. Sam's not looking good. PJ Walker might be, playing some minutes, or I'm talking like it's basketball, but he might get some snaps.
Yeah, I mean, this is why I constantly tell everyone, stay away from the retreads. Stay away from thinking you can fix everybody, man. They went after Sam Darnold. Now, they didn't give up really much to get Sam Darnold, but Sam Darnold, he proven to be even worse than what he was with the Jets, because at least with the Jets, they trusted him enough to throw the ball a little bit.
And
But this
Walter,
season,
Christian McCaffrey is officially active for today's game against New England.
Yeah, don't know what we're gonna get from him.
I mean, do you expect much? Knows the Chuba Hubbard, they're playing all right.
Yeah. Chuba held his own. I mean, they're completely more dynamic and a better team, better offensively when Christian's in there, though. But like I said, I mean, it all comes down to quarterback position.
And really quick, Sam obviously is starting quarterback, but he's playing against the New England defense where he was seeing ghosts.
So he passed the concussion protocol?
I believe so. Let me take a look, but as far as I know, he was going to play. But, I mean, if PJ Walker plays, I don't know how much you can expect out of the guy. Listen,
man, Sam Darnold, before getting hurt, his best asset this season were his legs.
No, you know what his best asset was having Christian McCaffrey in the backfield.
Then his legs.
Then his legs.
Then his right arm. Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah, man. He's playing. He's active.
Oh, okay.
Actives for week 9 really quick. Christian McCaffrey, CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Cole Beasley, Rashad Bateman, Donovan Peoples-Jones, and Sam Darnold. Inactives, James Robinson, Sammy Watkins, Latavius Murray, Odell Beckham Jr. And those are your active and inactives for week 9 so far.
Rashad Bateman. Like him. Think he's a solid receiver. Think he's kind of what Lamar needs. More of a possession guy. So, yeah, Baltimore seems to be getting some guys healthy. Lamar's getting better in the pocket. It's still hit or miss defensively.
It is. And I mean, it's a very crucial game for both of these teams, but more so the Minnesota Vikings. But I mean, if they're going to turn the season around, this has to be the game. You got to win this game. Like, there's no like ifs, ands, or buts about it. You got to win.
Yeah, considering the fact that I think they have a chance in the NFC. NFC isn't as strong and as top heavy as the AFC. You can make the argument that the top 5 teams in the league all probably come from the AFC.
Yeah, and we've seen situations like this where a team's been struggling, and
NFC for that matter.
Yeah, and in November they start winning, they go on the streak, and they make the playoffs. So, I mean, who knows? Look, offensively, they got the weapons.
Well, let me ask you this: I want to talk about the NFC in comparison to the AFC. When you look at Tampa, you look at the LA Rams, Arizona Cardinals, Green Bay Packers, all these teams, even the Saints. You can make the argument that the Saints could probably beat any of the top 5 teams in the AFC. Who do you believe in the AFC stands the best chance to knock off any of those juggernauts in the NFC? Buffalo?
I believe Buffalo and the Raiders. I think
you think the Chiefs are done?
I don't know if they're done, but I'm not as confident. I don't know what's going on with Travis Kelce, man. Last week he just did not look himself. There's something going on there. Something just not meshing right. And the offensive line that we thought was going to do well, I mean, it's kind of been a little bit in shambles too.
They won't run the football.
And here's the other thing that we got to look out for. So the foot that Patrick Mahomes had surgery on, I forget who. I think it was Mike Florio and Chris Sims that brought this up. That there was a play, I believe it was in the 4th quarter with about 13 minutes remaining or 12 minutes remaining, that Pat tried to roll out, and you know how he usually moves his other leg back around his left to the right and then throw with a big arm? He wasn't able to do that. And Chris says that there's something still going on with that foot. And that's why we haven't seen these dynamic plays that we're so accustomed to seeing from him. So just definitely something to keep an eye on.
Run the football.
Woohoo!
Generate ways to.
They don't got the horses,
Listen,
man.
We watched. So who do you think this all falls on at the end of the day? Is it Andy Reid?
It's got to be the coach.
We watched Bill Belichick for 2 decades win games however in the hell he had to win them. Whether Tom threw the ball 38 times or Tom threw the ball 16 times. You find your job is to win games, not win games the way you choose to win them.
Andy Reid is not Bill Belichick.
I understand that. Andy's still a hell of a coach, but
he is a hell of a coach, but
win. Like you're supposed to win games.
And this defense, I mean, it's not very good.
Well, they experimented. They moved Chris Jones outside. They're moving Chris Jones back inside now.
That's what they need to keep him. Do not move him back outside.
They paid guys too. Let's be honest. Guys got paid, and they're not as good as we thought they were. Like Sorensen has had an awful season.
Oh my God!
Frank Clark isn't giving them anything.
With Sorensen, they even had like I forget what's it called, but they had like pretty much people donating money to pay for his salary so the Chiefs could cut him.
Yeah, I mean Snead. They thought Snead was going to continue to ascend. He hasn't really gotten that better this season.
He's been struggling.
Yeah, so it happens. I mean, woe is me. You got to get through it. Every other team in the league's got to get through it. But every other team in the league doesn't have an elite quarterback, elite tight end, and elite wide receiver.
Well, they got to beat the Packers today. I mean, you cannot ask for a better situation. Aaron Rodgers getting, and we'll get to Aaron in a second here too. With him being out because of COVID, Jordan Love making his first career start in the NFL. I mean, if you're the Chiefs, you cannot ask for a better situation. I just don't see them losing this game.
So how do you defend them if you're the Chiefs? Because I expect to see. Well,
you bring pressure.
You expect the running game, don't you, from Green Bay?
Well, I don't know. Maybe, but why would you? Everyone, suspects that they're going to run the football. So, I mean, if you're Matt LaFleur, why not do the opposite? hey, we're gonna go in, we're gonna start throwing. Everyone's expecting us to run the ball and be conservative. We're not gonna do that. We're gonna go in there, we're gonna sling that thing.
Yeah, I mean, you can always just considering the fact that Sorensen has been so bad in coverage,
To me,
that pretty much keeps Matthew back.
the first 15 plays, what Green Bay calls is going to dictate how the game's going to go. As far as him controlling the offense and doing whatever he does.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. But, I mean, look, can the Packers win? Of course they can win. But, I mean, if they're the Chiefs, you just got to win this game.
Well, does that Monday night game, that Monday night win over the Giants, does it kind of scare you?
No. The Giants should have beat them.
No, I'm talking about for the Chiefs. Does it kind of scare you? The fact that it was a win, but the Giants probably should have won that game.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. The Giants should have won. I mean, if you're a Chiefs fan, yeah, you got to be scared. You barely beat the Giants. And, I mean, let me knock on some wood. The Raiders play the Giants today, so hopefully there's not a upset in at MetLife. So, but yeah, I mean, if you're a Chiefs fan, you got to be concerned.
Yeah, so the Chiefs don't have the easiest schedule down the stretch either. You know, they put themselves behind the eight ball. They lost the tiebreaker to the Ravens. They have one more game left against the Chargers, so that's completely must win. That next game against the Chargers.
They play the Raiders Sunday Night Football next Sunday.
Yep. So I mean, they're behind the eight ball. Now, what's helping them is the fact that the AFC is kind of whack. So, you know, they could easily overtake a team like Cincinnati or Cleveland or.
Look, I'm not. Cincinnati's got a big game too against the Browns today too.
Huge game.
Look, everyone was crowning you the best team in the AFC last week, and then you go into MetLife and you lose to the Jets with a backup quarterback that throws over for 400.
Hey! The Jets beat the Titans.
No, but last week though.
Yeah, but the Jets beat the Titans too, though. So the Jets are good.
And the Titans actually had me and you playing wideout in that game too. So they had nobody playing besides Derrick Henry, and he only could do so much. So, but look, Cincinnati's got a big game against the Browns today. This is a big game for the Browns. You got to win this game if you have any aspirations of making the playoffs.
Yeah, I think this game is going to be a telltale sign of what happens in Cleveland with a lot of people. I mean, Stefanski isn't going anywhere. I don't think he's the issue. I think they've had some guys that have underachieved, especially on defense. They haven't gotten a lot out of those corners.
That defense is supposed to be elite.
Definitely. I mean, Myles Garrett still is.
Well, I mean, yeah, but besides him.
Yeah. It's Chubb not really being there. They're not what they wanted to be. And they thought that Odell would really be the piece in that, and it never worked out. You know,
they played better without Odell last year.
They did, but also Baker's vision isn't looking all that hot either.
But look, I mean, I'm not trying to make excuses for Baker, but he's not right. Like, he's got a torn labrum. I mean, he's going to need probably off-season surgery, and who knows? Maybe after today, if they lose, they shut him down for the year. I mean,
why not? Or unless you just don't give a damn about him. And you don't plan on bringing them back, and I would hope they wouldn't do the kid like that.
No, but I mean, they are the Browns.
If you don't plan on bringing them back, don't let the kid go out there and destroy yourself.
Yeah, but I mean, they are the Browns, and they don't have the best track record with people, and people, coaches, and players. And if you guys catch my drift, but anyways, all right, but let's do bold predictions.
All right, bold prediction. I'm going to go to Dallas. I'm going to take the Broncos over the Cowboys.
Don't do it.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I think that Broncos secondary can hold up pretty well against those Cowboy wide receivers. And I also believe that,
And Dak's playing, by the way.
I know he's playing. How much is he going to be able to do?
Dak? I mean, you don't need him to do very much.
Yeah, I mean, but still, he's going to have to improvise enough. Denver isn't that bad as far as, when it comes to getting to the quarterback. And they can cover downfield. So,
yeah, I don't see that happening. But that's why it's called bold predictions, right?
Bold predictions.
I'm going with the Chicago Bears to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers Monday Night Football in Pittsburgh.
That's completely ridiculous. Why? I'm going to go to my lock of the week, which is the Steelers over the Bears on Monday. Listen, Hey man, listen. Justin Fields has played poorly this season, to say the least. That Steeler defense, man. The Steelers are setting offenses back. They're setting the football back decades, man. To be able to win games the way they're winning games right now, and you putting my boy in a situation against that defense right now. No, no.
Bears are going to win. And they're going to do it in fashion tomorrow night in Pittsburgh.
You know what? I don't believe this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it to the line. What does Vegas say?
Ouch. I don't know. I didn't look at the game. But let's look.
Pittsburgh -5.
Oh, take the Bears to cover.
Nope.
No. All right. Well, my lock of the week, or for today, I guess you can say, the Rams being the Titans.
Yeah,
Titans ain't got no chance.
Yeah.
And the Rams are going to show out tonight.
Only thing I can give the Titans is the fact that they've heard over the past week and a half how basically they ain't nothing but a Derrick Henry team.
They are.
Yeah, but there's a lot to be said for a team that's been disrespected the way they've been disrespected. Now, can they play above their heads tonight? I think there's a good chance they can go to Tennessee and play above their heads. Defensively, they've been good. Harold Landry's got 8.5 sacks. Jeffrey Simmons and Danico Autry on that defensive line have been pretty solid in the middle.
What's up,
They're
Ralph?
there. What's up, Ralph? Yeah, man. I think defensively they have a chance. Byard is the best safety in football right now. So they have a chance. I don't think the game is going to go the way people think it's going to go. Now, about 3 weeks ago, Nodad and myself, we both had Tennessee beating the Rams in this game. Now, that was before Derrick Henry got hurt. We thought with Derrick Henry and A.J. Brown and Julio Jones, they could go to L.A. and beat the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
So, but let's look at that line. It's still only 4 points. Rams -4. What does that say? Now, what does that say, Fidel?
They're expecting a close game. Now,
no Derrick Henry, maybe no Julio
well, I mean,
Jones.
do they expect the letdown from the Rams Sunday Night Football? I don't think so.
Give them 7 points then.
It's the easiest pick to make of the week to me.
Give them 7 points then.
You hit a parlay, you take that team. I think they're going to be the Titans.
Man, listen. Baltimore's getting 6 against the Ravens.
Too much.
They're getting 6 against the Ravens.
That's a lot.
So you tell me you can't give the Rams 6 against the beat-up Titans? That lets you know Vegas knows.
That's an easy bet. They're doing people favors, I guess, now.
Man, I'll take Tennessee.
You're crazy.
To find a way to win that game.
We're going to revisit this conversation after the game.
Well, look at how opportunistic that Titans defense has been, man. And they've been hard on quarterbacks this season, too. I'm just saying.
They haven't played an offense like the Rams.
I'm just saying, man. Well, they played Arizona. But Arizona put one on them. Arizona put one on them, though.
Don't be surprised if Arizona goes on a losing streak.
No, I think they'll win today.
Kyler might be out.
I think they can still win. They're good enough. Yeah. I told you I trusted Colt.
All right.
When it came to backup quarterbacks, I trusted Colt.
All right. That works. All right. Well, my lock to win is Cowboys over the Broncos.
Okay.
Just throwing it out there.
You win some, you lose some.
Vic Fangio is going to be out as head coach.
Oh, you think it's going to be one of those Monday mornings?
Well, I don't know if he's going to get fired tomorrow, but I mean,
yeah.
Can't do much, man. It is what it is.
Well, it's just the midway point in the season. I think this is around the time where a lot of teams want to get a head start on their coaching searches. You got guys like Matt Campbell at Iowa State. I think Campbell's probably going to be gone from Iowa State. So he was a guy who was a very hot name in the head coaching market this all season, especially with the Detroit Lions. He was the original Campbell they actually wanted. So there's plenty of guys. You got Lincoln Riley. So if you want to get a head start on guys like that, now is the time to get rid of a coach. Why keep him?
I mean, I don't know. Great question. So, but I mean, do you think we'll see a coach get fired before the season's over?
Another one? Yeah.
Who?
2 guys we just talked. I'm not sure. Elway. how's the respect level with him and Vic Fangio?
It's not even always call anymore, though.
Yeah, but
It's a
is
general
it?
call.
He's still the general.
Well, look, it's going to be very interesting this offseason to see who buys the Denver Broncos, because all depending on that, that's going to say where John's going to be
Well,
next year.
I think Flores is gone. I just see if
I mean, let me ask you this. I mean, if you're to the point that, hey, I might get fired, but I'm not even happy here, do you just quit,
step down.
step down?
How's the money looking in the contract?
That's it. That's what I'm talking about, baby. It's all about the money.
Exactly. We don't see coaches step down very often
We
unless
don't.
it's a situation where it's a scandal or something like that. But coaches don't quit. If you quit, you rarely get another job.
Yeah.
That's frowned upon in the coaches fraternity.
Yeah. All right. Any final thoughts before we end today's show?
Yeah. Yeah. Ain't much to talk about. What do
Go
you
ahead.
think about what's going on with the Detroit Lions? And if this turns into an 0-17 season, a 1-16 season, you have a head coach, brand new head coach who is in year one, who had just completed year one of a 6-year deal, a ridiculous 6-year deal. What do you do in that situation? Because it's kind of a hard sell to sell a culture change if you can't even win a damn game. So what do you do in that situation? You pay a guy to go away for 5 years?
They're not going to fire him.
Okay, that's
He's
understood.
he's
I don't think they
he
will
stepped
either.
into this mess, to say the least.
But you can't justify a winless season.
But well, let's look at the games they've lost, though. I mean, besides last week getting killed by the Eagles, which I did not expect, I was like, this might be their first win of the year.
That's what I'm talking about.
They've been pretty competitive throughout the year.
Well, in the early part of the season, but 0-17. 17 losses for them.
You guys are used to it. Didn't Rob Marinelli do that
Man,
for
don't
you
throw
guys?
that shit. Don't throw that shot at us, man. Listen, I'm saying like
Well, it
it's
hasn't been too better over here on this side, if you know what I mean. So
well, teams don't. How often do coaches really keep their job going into that second season? Let's say there is a 0-17 season, or a 1-16 season, or a 2-14 season, 15 season, and then they go into next season. They start next season 0-4. Like you're talking about paying a guy a lot of money to go away.
you got to find the answer at quarterback. You got to find the answer at quarterback. Jared Goff ain't it. I understand that. So everything you're doing right now is to get you in a better position for next year. Let's be honest. The Lions are thinking about next year. They're not thinking about this season. Of course, they want to win a game or two. It's not going to hurt them. But if that can help them stay at number one, I don't know how this draft QB draft class is looking out of college. I mean, you know more than I do.
Not good.
Not good, right? I mean,
no. If I've always been a strong advocate of you're picking number one overall, it needs to be either a quarterback, a pass rusher, or a left tackle, typically.
yeah.
Now, in this situation, I think the Lions have way too many holes on that roster to just stay there at number one and take Kayvon Thibodeau. Even though I think Kayvon Thibodeau is the number one player, the number one defensive. Well, I think Kyle Hamilton is the number one defensive player in the draft. But I have questions about Thibodeau and playing in the 3-4 defense, which I think the Lions will switch out of that completely. The talent you have on this team isn't 3-4 talent, it's 4-3 talent. With guys like Aleem McNeil, Levi, Onwuzurike, then you can take a guy like Kayvon Thibodeau and throw him in at 3-4. I mean at 4-3 DN. But if you keep that 3-4 defense, you're looking at probably moving him to 3-4 outside linebacker. Now, can he do that? I'm pretty sure he's athletic enough to do it. But do I trust this organization currently right now to figure out the proper way to use him? Not sure. Like they can't even figure out what to do with Penei Sewell, which honestly is leave him at left tackle, which is what you drafted him to do.
Yeah, he looks good though.
Well, he struggled the past few weeks, but he's playing left tackle.
He's looking good though.
Yeah, so it's like
That
damned if you do, damned if you don't.
That's right. Look, real quick, before we get off today's stream, Aaron Rodgers. You got caught with his hand in the cookie jar, to say the least, right?
Needs to be punished.
Needs to be punished. What do you think the punishment is going to be? You think it's a fine for the Packers, a suspension? I mean, because look, if the NFL lets him, if they don't do anything about the situation, then they're going to say that there's favoritism involved. That
We
there's this.
know there's always favoritism
Well,
involved.
we know that. At least from the Green Bay perspective, we know that they're scared of Aaron because they thought he wasn't going to come back. Let's be honest. They're walking around eggshells around Aaron. Let's not like lie about it. It's true. You know that. I know that. Everyone knows that.
You can go through all that for a guy who may leave, who pretty much is gone at the end
He's
of the
gonna
season.
leave. He's
Yeah.
gonna leave. But punishment wise, what do you think it's gonna be?
Fine. I think when it comes to the NFL, NBA, these leagues, certain organizations and certain players just get the benefit. They just get it, and other teams don't.
He shouldn't get it though. He lied about the whole situation. Like,
You think they're really gonna suspend him for 2 games?
if not, the Green Bay's gonna lose a draft pick. Because I mean, I know it's Aaron's fault, but it's
Okay, so if you're the
fault.
Green Bay Packers, do I want to lose a draft pick for you?
Yeah, you're going to. No questions asked.
Because you're going all in for this season.
Exactly. They're gonna look, if they did whatever they did to other teams last year, the Raiders got hefty fines. Hefty fines for a face mask that for whatever reason kind of fell down below the nose, and they fined John Gruden.
Well, we know organizations, they'll pay fines before
Yeah,
they risk losing one of their key players.
But we all know the NFL has favoritism as far as what organizations or what teams are going to fine. The Raiders look, the NFL doesn't like the Raiders. Let's be honest.
No,
they don't like certain teams. They don't like the Patriots. You don't think if this was New England or Tom, they wouldn't get a draft pick taken?
Of course.
So
of course.
Ultimately, you think it's it's a fine, no draft picks taken?
I think it's a fine, maybe a draft pick. I don't think Aaron sees any time lost. Period. Aside from tonight.
And he is going to lose some sponsors, I think. More to come, I believe.
Yeah. I mean,
it just doesn't look good when you're a sponsor with the hospital and you do all this. That's why they ended the relationship with them.
Bad look for Aaron.
Well, and his words, he doesn't give a shit about the left or the right. So there's that.
Yeah, that's my guy, man. he doesn't give any.
No wonder you're being nice to him about the whole situation.
No, trust me, he should be suspended. He should miss a couple games.
But he's not going to though. Yeah, you're right. All right. Well, that's going to wrap up today's show. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Sunday. Good luck on your bets if you're going to place any, and we'll talk to you guys soon.